Hello everybody, how are you? We are today at Kathy's house and we're just coming to you live right now. Sorry for the lateness, or not lateness. We were like chatting. I look at the clock, I'm like, oh, it's 8. So here we are. I want to say hello and welcome to everyone. I am starting this soul journey series. I thought that I know a lot of really amazing people in my life, really amazing healers. And I always condone and recommend to my clients that there is a healer for everybody. And there's a healer for different areas, different times of your life, different seasons of your life. And I just happen to just know a lot of really amazing people that I want to share that with you. And the inspiration for this was last Saturday when I did my GTA conference live with Kimiko, and we just kind of did a kind of an interview style, and I thought, hey, I could do this. And I know a lot of people. I wanted to reach out to people who need help in whichever way that is. So I thought I could do that, and so I kind of put those two and two together. So here we are. Today we have featuring our first episode. We're featuring Kathy Robson, and she is a very talented tarot reader, Reiki master, and crystal healer, and psychic medium as well. Right? So she has a lot of talents there. She's really good at a lot of those, and she's quite an intuitive person to begin with, and an excellent empath as well. So we are just, we're here already. I'm just going to turn this on, see if anybody is here or has any questions for us. There we go. So we are going to start with the first question that I have for Kathy is, first of all, what would you like to share with me and the audience about your life journey so far? Right? And what has led you to become the healer that you are now, right?
Okay. Well, probably just life experience, I guess, as what leads everybody down their path. I have, fortunately, unfortunately, had a lot of experience with mental health over the course of my lifetime, and that is through the people that I have been surrounded by. Mm-hmm. It is the people that I have come across. It is the people that I have grown relationships with. People I've ended relationships with.
Yeah.
And growth along the way. So I think through all of those experiences with different forms of mental health, I have become very, very interested, fascinated even by the brain and our minds and how that works and how the effects of traumas, our life experiences, people that we have surrounded ourselves with, and the experiences that we've been through affect our growth and our development, and our understanding of the world and what goes on around us. So, and certain aspects of that, I've grown to know people that have dealt with their mental health in many ways. Some of them through positive, what society would consider positive things, by getting medical attention, going to counseling and therapy and things like that. And I also have people in my life that have gone that have found that unsuccessful and have gone a different way and have self-medicated with drugs or alcohol or food or different other things. So I find the whole process fascinating. So that's probably through my life experiences and my own traumas that I have been through, I think have brought me to the point where I see a need to help people in that avenue. And I also know that our medical system, our mental health system, in Ontario, in Canada, is so inadequate, so painfully inadequate, and does not even come close to caring for the needs of people that suffer from mental illness, that struggle learning through their traumas, struggle dealing with life experiences, and sometimes just day-to-day shit that happens in our lives. So I want to do my little piece to try to help that, because I know the things now that I could have used back in there and during different times in different parts of my life. I know different things that the people I love could have used in the parts of their life, and I want to try to do my part to try to offer some support that way.
That's wonderful. It's like you live through the experience, so now you're kind of a subject expert in some of those things, and that's kind of what drove you the need to kind of fill those pockets for people, right? Because you've been there, done that, right? Wonderful. Thank you, Kathy, for sharing. Have you discovered your life purpose, and if so, how did that occur?
Oh, I think that is along with everyone else, I'm winging it.
Okay.
You know what? I think one of the things that I have learned in the course of life is that life is short, and our experiences that bring us joy and fulfillment are fleeting sometimes. So I think one of the biggest things that I have learned, and it has become my sort of life path, is to find joy and to bring joy to others. Because it is short. That's the actual time that we have, and like I was saying before, in dealing with certain aspects of life, I know how important it is, and how much I cherish those moments that make you happy. And part of those things that make you happy are doing the things that bring you joy, that bring you fulfillment, that make you feel at peace and one with the what's around you. So I think that's our life purpose. I that's become my belief, is to do the things that bring you joy, because that is your life's path. Because the universe is showing you the things that bring you fulfillment are generally the things that you're supposed to be doing. Right.
So it's not the fighting, striving. It's kind of sometimes the simplest thing that kind of can bring that joy into your life.
And sometimes it's simple. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's life's work. Sometimes it is doing the hard stuff. Sometimes it is healing is painful, and anybody that tells you that, it's all, well, I'm healed. I've got this big white light surrounding me. No, healing is ugly. It's messy. It's dirty. It's laying on the couch in the same pair of pajamas, staring at your phone, or staring off at a fixed point in space for a certain period of time. It's curled up in a ball on the floor, crying your eyes out, getting rid of all those things that you've held onto for so long. That's healing. That's healing. Because when you come out the other side and all of that is released and all of that is gone, then you can start to experience a little bit of joy and a little bit of happiness and fulfillment.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's one of my other questions, but I love that you answered it now, because it just organically shifted to. But you're right. Healing takes work, and healing is not always, love and light. I'm meditating here. It does require a certain level of self-awareness, right? And also asking for help, right? That's why there's so many of us, and I think that's why I'm sure we'll see throughout the series that every healer has their own kind of niche, their own experiences that they lived through it. Therefore, that's why they're the subject expert in those things, right? So I just want to say hi, Nancy. Nancy's watching. Hi, Nancy. So I know you talked a little bit about some of your life journey, but what are some of the challenges you were faced with during your healing journey, right? If you want to share any of that, anything specific coming to mind.
Challenges in my own healing journey. I think probably the biggest challenge is acceptance and forgiveness.
Right.
Are two of the biggest ones. And I'm not talking about forgiveness for benefit of other people. I'm talking about forgiveness of myself. I think was the hardest one, and recognizing that choices that I made were maybe not the best choices, but it was the choices that it was the only choice out of the choices that I was presented with at the time.
Right.
And I made choices out of what I knew, the support that I had,
right, yeah,
the abilities that I had available to me at that time. Maybe it was emotional, maybe it was mental, maybe it was financial, maybe it was all different kinds of things. But whatever the situation was that I was faced with, I did the very best that I could at that moment in time. And maybe I can look back on things and think, oh, well, I should have done this and I could have done that and I would have done better. But those thoughts are pointless because none of that was the case at that time.
Right. And hindsight's 20/20 anyways, right?
Well, it is.
And when you're in it, we kind of had this discussion today, when you're in it, it's harder to see what's ahead of you. You can see clearly what's behind you and not wanting to repeat those mistakes, but it's really hard to be in it and know that choice is going to be the right choice, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And I think that was a really hard lesson for me to learn. It was a very painful lesson, and I struggled with that for a long time. I have people in my life that I needed, and people in my life that I wanted so badly to help and to change and to make things better and to heal them and to make them better. But learning that was their lessons to learn. It wasn't my part that I was learning in that. Was my relationship and my interaction with that individual. That was my lesson to learn. What they were doing and what they had going on in their life was their lesson to learn, and recognizing that no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't make them any different.
No.
I couldn't change their thought processes.
No.
I couldn't change their decisions. I couldn't change what they were or who they were or how they did things. The only thing that I could do was to change the way that I looked at it and the way that I carried myself. Yeah. And the way that I helped myself deal with the situation. So I think that was probably the biggest one, is just forgiveness for myself. Yeah. Forgiveness for others, that they knew no better, that they could do no better. Yeah. Because they were only operating under the understanding that they had, that they were only operating on the knowledge and the support and the whatever that they had to deal with the same situation, but from a totally different point of view. And that they were a totally different person from me. Yeah. So they didn't love the same. They didn't look the same. They didn't understand the same. They didn't see the same, because I look at it from my perspective and they look at it from theirs.
May I just ask this question, if you would like to answer it? It's like, what are some tools, some exercises, what tools do you use to heal that, like to learn that self-forgiveness, or that you even use now, right? Because things pop up all the time.
Yeah, I think now it has become habit because I practiced it. Yeah. but I want to tell you, I've been well, next week I'll be 55 year. I'll be entering into my 56th year
Yes.
on this planet, and in this life and in this body, and it has taken me a lot of those years to learn how to do that and to figure that out, and to be honest with myself, honest from the perspective of where I've been and what I know and where I want to go. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you. I think this is kind of okay. So this is kind of relevant. Is what is the one lesson that you've learned from experience that you keep teaching? You keep reminding yourself, but also teaching your clients, teaching the people that you work with. So what's like kind of like, hindsight's 20/20. Self-forgiveness is essential. Things like that. I'm trying to think an example for myself. In the sense of, so I tell my clients, it's like, there's only 3 things you're ever in control of: what you think, how you feel, and how you act. Everything else is a reflection and mirroring of where you're at and the people around you, right? So that's kind of something that I do. I tell my clients to remind myself, but also to teach them as well. So do you have something like that you like to go, even if it's like not my circus, not my monkeys kind of thing, sometimes you have to remind yourself that, everybody has their own circus, and
not your circus, not your monkeys, but you can still buy peanuts and watch the show.
Exactly.
I think probably 2 of the biggest things that come to mind are, I want to swear, MF boundaries.
Yeah.
Boundaries are probably one of the most important things for anybody to have. Boundaries for yourself. What are my expectations? What makes me feel good? What makes me not feel good? And respecting those and learning that crossover point and learning that you have every right and an obligation to yourself to speak up.
Right.
Because you are your only advocate.
Yeah.
And you have a right to be who you want to be. Yeah. The other thing is I tell my clients to hold their arms out. And this space, that is the only thing that you have control over. You have no control over another person. You have no control over their actions, their reactions, because they're going to see you, they're going to hear you, and they're going to understand you from whatever place they're at.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And as you do,
yeah,
right? You understand another person from the point that you're at. I have been to different therapists over the course of my life through, in support of other people that I was dealing with or working with. In my own experiences, I've gone to counseling. I've gone to counseling for my children. And I've even had counselors, when I'm trying to explain a situation or I'm sitting in as an advocate for a client and hearing their explanations of a certain situation, and I've had the counselor question them from a totally different point of view because they were accepting that information from whatever traumas or experiences that they had dealt with.
Right.
And and that is why one of the hardest things in finding a counselor is finding somebody that you jive with.
Yes.
Because you have to have a person that understands you,
right,
and is not going to have that crossover point from that they're going to understand things or try to provide support to you that would benefit themselves,
yes,
and not benefit you,
right?
Because you quite obviously are there for your own reasons, not for theirs.
Yeah. Instead of doing their job, or that they're looking at you through an empathetic lens, right? Of either their professional experience or their own personal experience. And I think this is the reason why I want to share all these different healers, is because we each come with different experiences and techniques, and we've handled grief, and we handled trauma, and we handled learning how to cope with our sensitivities and our awakening in different ways. So not everybody's going to process the information the same, right? So I want to be able to kind of give them that variety to go, ooh, I really like this person, I really like this person.
Absolutely. And I think any good healer, good therapist, good counselor, good doctor, good anyone that that is actually in that for the benefit of their clients should have no problem in saying, you know, my skill set isn't a good fit for you.
Yeah.
But I know of so-and-so, or let me help you search out a person that is going to be of benefit to you. You know, I have dealt with certain situations where there has been sexual abuse involved, domestic assaults, drug addictions, you know, self-harm, all different sorts of aspects of that where, you know, that sometimes my skill base can be of help.
Yes.
Sometimes it's above and beyond what I'm able to do, but I'm willing to support that person in searching out what their something that's going to best fulfill their needs.
Wonderful. Thank you, Kathy.
Yeah.
And I know we talked about this because we talked about what does healing mean to you, right? We talked about how it is ugly and messy, but what does healing mean to you, like in the sense of how do you know when you've healed something, or you surpassed a challenge before, or you helped a client kind of heal from a situation?
I think probably the best way to see healing, and well, what I've experienced anyways, is my triggers. When you enter into a situation that would trigger you, and you recognize the trigger right away.
Yes.
This is triggering me right now, and so I'm going to take a breath, I'm going to take a step back, and I'm going to decide on how I want to proceed with this. To the point that, you know, I've been in certain conversations where somebody has said something to me, and I have said, you know, I need a minute to process what you've just said because it's triggering me. Or I have been in certain situations where I have a certain individual in my life that is, you know, a family member that I love dearly. But at certain points in time, this individual can say things that would just tear me down. And I have learned that that person is experiencing and dealing with their own traumas and their unmet needs and their unhealed situations. So from my perspective, I can recognize that in that person now, and I can immediately recognize when the situation is, and I can divert the conversation, or I can come right out and say, you know what you just said hurt my feelings.
Right. So once again,
so I can put a boundary, and I can
say.
say, you know, if this conversation continues, I'm going to have to hang up, or I'm going to have to end this visit, or I'm going to have to stop this conversation. And then I can walk away from that situation where it in past it would have, you know, taken me weeks to, you know, heal and to recognize and to not be upset about the whole situation anymore. Now I can just say, okay, that's just them being them.
Yeah. I
am me. And I can recognize those parts of me. So I think that is the best judge for me in healing, is recognizing that my triggers aren't as triggering anymore.
Wonderful. Okay. So we talked a little bit about some of your skills and some of your talents and some of your gifts that you have right now that you've developed and practiced. Out of your tarot, your Reiki, your psychic medium skills, like which is the one that you love the most, and what do you find so unique about these talents that you've kind of like is okay? So let me just add a little quick question there too.
Okay.
Is were you always that way? Did you develop them? How did you work with them? Right?
Well, I think as an empath, we're kind of born that way. We kind of grow into our certain situations, and they say, I've read as much as I'm sure other people have about being an empath, and that empaths are usually grown out of the traumas that they experience and the lifestyles that they know of, and they become very adept at recognizing and feeling their surroundings and the people that are surrounding them. So I think that's probably one of the things that I never really recognized until I got into probably my 30s or so, before I recognized it for what it was. And then it was probably a few more years after that before I actually recognized it as a gift.
Yes. Because it doesn't feel like a gift often, yeah.
Sometimes, what is the saying, to feel so deeply, and as I can't remember what that saying is. Sure, I know that something about feeling something so deeply and is such a painful situation, and it doesn't have to be.
Right.
And I think as I grew and started getting into doing Reiki and I took some courses for access bars. I've taken some courses in mental health. I've taken some counseling courses. I've done some different things and learned some different attitudes, different ways of looking at things, different ways of dealing with things, and learning how to protect myself a little bit more, and learning how to set boundaries, and learning who I was.
Yeah.
I think that is now I can look at things from a gift. So I think from your question, my favorite of all of them, I think, is all of them. Is my kind of approach to healing is, when I have a client, is I pull everything out, and whatever I can use to try to help that person. I guess I'm not your typical tarot reader either.
No.
I am
but in
not,
the best way possible, right?
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I am not the one that tells your fortunes
Yeah.
and that sort of stuff. My approach is to pull in my guides, and pull in the angels, and pull in your guides when you come to visit me, to and using the cards as kind of a tool to help work through and to help provide some healing. Maybe point out an issue that maybe you haven't really considered as being a cause and effect to behaviors or feelings or physical ailments, because what I have come to know, and especially since I've gone into Reiki and healing, is your mental state, your emotional state has a physical effect on your body.
Yeah.
And there's certain parts of your body metaphysically that absorb and hold onto energies and hold onto your emotions. The whole knee bone's connected to the ankle bone is connected to your brain. In the end, it's all one package. So I think to look at healing as a whole body sort of effort. And I use tarot cards, I use oracle cards, I use crystals, I use Reiki, I use access bars, I use talk therapy, I use behavioral therapy techniques. I use all kinds of different things to pull in to try to understand, and if nothing else, give my clients a safe place to talk their way out. Because sometimes what I have found personally, and what I have found with my clients, is that when you get into a certain state, you hold everything in here, and it becomes just a mismatch of all kinds of thoughts and emotions and feelings and overthinking and reanalyzing and re-going over things over and over again, and trying to, like I was talking to you earlier about, have a full-on conversation going on in my head about what I wish I would have said under those circumstances to that person under the, on that specific day. Whereas, those conversations, once we say them out loud, once we speak those things, they start to make sense, and we have control over them. Once we recognize that it's just not all swimming in our heads, once we say things out loud in a safe place, true healing occurs when secrets are told in safe spaces.
Wow, beautiful quote.
Right?
Yes.
That's when we can heal, because when we say it out loud, we can tell if it makes sense or not. Sometimes you don't even need me to respond to the situation. You can say it out loud and you go, holy shit, that makes no sense at all. Or, oh my God, I never thought of it that way. Right? And that in itself can be healing and uplifting.
Well, I have many times where even you and I have had conversations that before that even the words come out, I'm already hearing the answer and going, okay, well, I'm going to say it anyways because I think it needs to be said. But you get the, like, you hear the solution in your words that you're saying. For sure. It's wonderful. Now thank you, Kathy.
You're welcome.
So what are you working on now? What projects are happening around you? What are you investing your time and energy in? I know there's a few things coming down the line.
A few things going on. I have been working on for a couple of years now, but I'm getting to close to the end of this. What I'm calling it the end. I'm writing my memoirs, autobiography, a book. Really, I'm writing a book on life experiences, and with a special sort of attention placed on mental health and what's available and what's not, and what should be more available. So I'm working on that. That's been a project. It's kind of a passion that I've been working on for quite a while now, kind of on and off. My business, Illuminated Healing, is we're opening up a crystal division. So I've been doing tarot readings, Reiki healing, talk therapy, counseling for a while now, but we're actually going to be taking into, and I say we because my daughter is going to be helping me. She is quite the crystal aficionado. She has really gotten into studying the crystals and using them. So we're opening up and expanding that into our business. So Illuminated Healing will be starting doing online sales. So we've got some.
I've seen some of the merchandise. It looks lovely, ladies.
Yeah, we got some pretty cool stuff. We got some pretty cool stuff. So you're getting a heads up. But a big announcement is coming probably this week. And our first sale is going around the first week of April. First week of April.
So keep an eye out for posts and videos, and
definitely.
And I will make sure to put it out there too for my audience as well, so they're aware that you're having a live. And so I can't wait. The merchandise is beautiful, and the prices are very reasonable. So
awesome!
I can't wait. I can't wait to see your live. So we talked about the service and that you provide already. And so because you can do tarot, Reiki. You can also, our psychic medium, you can have messages that way as well. Where can people find you? How can they get in contact with you if they want a reading or they want a healing session with you?
My email probably would be your best bet, and you will put that in the comments afterwards. But I'm at illuminatedhealing333@gmail.com. You can reach me on Facebook, Instagram at illuminatedhealing333, and send me a private message. Send me an email, and we can set up a time to get together.
Wonderful. I'm appointed. Well, Kathy, that's kind of the questions I wanted to kind of ask you. Is there anything you would like to ask? Is there any questions from the audience that they wanted to ask us, or especially Kathy? Here it says we have a couple of comments. Nancy says, love you can buy peanuts and watch the show. I love that one too. And she says, boundaries are huge and sometimes challenging to embrace without guilt. Yeah. I hear you, Nancy.
That is the hard part. And I think it all stems back to worthiness, and especially as women, I think we have to really work on that as a whole. It's something that not all of us were taught very well, that we had the right to stand up for ourselves, and that no is a complete sentence.
Yeah.
And that if you follow your gut, that's the biggest thing I've tried to teach my daughter, I tried to teach my grandchildren, is, you follow your tummy, and if your tummy's telling you something's not right, you don't have to do it.
Right. And you don't always have to understand in the moment what's wrong.
No.
As long as you're true to yourself and go, okay, I'm not liking this, I'm going to say no. Usually you find out later on why. Mm-hmm. So there's usually our hints and just signs that are coming. Mm-hmm. So that's our life for today. I want to thank Kathy so much for not only providing her beautiful home, but her time and your amazing, vulnerable experiences and lessons. I'm hopefully everybody can take some of her aha moments and her enlightenment advice to heart and use them in your own lives. So stay tuned. I have live pull a card this Sunday at 7:30 for the Aries new moon. So I hope to see all of you there. And I'll see you then, and I'll see you next Friday with somebody else. So I'm kind of don't have quite a lineup yet of healers coming, but if there isn't, I will go on live and tell you my own story and my own healing story. So you will see me next Friday no matter what. So sending you all lots of love, healing, and send me any kind of messages or any questions if you have after this live. If you review it later, I'm here to answer those for you. Thank you, Nancy. Thanks, Nikki. Thanks for being here. All you wonderful audience, and sending you lots of love.
Good night, folks. Thanks.
Bye.